This is a prelude to episode 666 of Into Your Head, and unlike many other podcasts, really is episode 666, because I noticed a lot of people, they'll say, here's episode 1, here's episode 2, and then they disappear off for 8 months and then come back and say, let's start this up again, it's season 2, so then they call it episode 201, episode 202, and then they disappear for 2 years, and then they say, we're back with season 3. So when they get to episode 666, they've done 12 shows. Well, no, in this case, I actually have done approximately 666 episodes, possibly more, because I had some unnumbered ones as well. So this is genuine. So if you're afraid of the number 666, I can tell you, you're going to be even more afraid of it today, because this is a genuine 666, not a fake. It's season 6, sub-season 60, episode 5. This is a proper 666 show, but don't worry, because it doesn't contain advice for people who are afraid of the number 666. Only problem is you'll have to listen to us to get it. So are you prepared to take that step? Are you prepared to take that leap forward and tackle your fears and listen to show 666? Probably not, in which case, thanks for listening. Go listen to the previous show, it's very good, or check out the extras and reruns feed, intoyourhead.com/extras. But I think you should listen to this, and then you can go away saying, I gave it a listen, it scared the crap out of me, but I've taken a step forward in my life now. And now I've just realised we have a continuation issue here, because in the opening segment that's about to come up, I think if I remember rightly, I take off my cardigan. Now I'm putting it on, I'm putting it back on before I even take it off. Don't worry, that just shows to show this isn't live, and it's done out of order. In fact, now that I think about it, I can't even remember whether I kept the segment in which I took off my cardigan, in which case I haven't taken it off at all, but I've managed to put her back on, which is even more terrifying, because it means, there's some sort of time jumps going on, and I'm having blackouts where I take off my cardigan and don't remember it, or don't record it, or use it, or something. I don't know, but it's all for the best. If I didn't use the segment in which I take off my cardigan, it's because it wasn't good enough, and if I did, it's because it was good enough. So either way, it's a quality control issue, so don't worry about it. Anyway, on with the show.
Monkey nuts, that's what they call them. Monkey nuts, into your head. Monkey nuts, that's what they call them. Big steaming piles of monkey nuts into your head.
We've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Topics. We've got lots and lots of topics. We're positively booming to the seams with topics. We've got topics coming out of this keyboard. Let's have a look now. I'm sure there's some topics on this keyboard that we can attend to. Let's see. There's a health warning for one thing. Use of a keyboard may be linked to serious injuries or disorders. Well, I've certainly got plenty of disorders that I could attribute to this keyboard, but I'm not going to, because I'm not like that. I'm not the type who goes around suing people just because I happen to be fucked up and I happen to own one of their products. No, I'm not going to sue whoever made this. Microsoft, software company. So this is presumably a software. This is a software keyboard. It's presumably it's a hologram. It's not a real keyboard at all, because Microsoft don't make hardware. They only make software. So that would explain a lot. This is a holographic software keyboard. That's interesting now, because I think I did get a disc with it, but I didn't insert it anywhere. So maybe my computer automatically downloaded the keyboard when I brought it home and took the real one out of the box. That's interesting. Why was there a real one in the box then? Because I've got a real one here, and it is the real one that was in the box. Or is it? I don't know. Or did it create itself in the box? box when I opened it within range of my Wi-Fi. I don't know. I don't need to know, though. You don't need to understand everything about how your computer works. You don't need to know the ins and outs and ups and downs and overs and sideways and circular navigation that goes on inside your computer. Although it should be easier nowadays when we've moved from desktops to laptops, and the insides of most computers now are only an inch thick. It's only 1 inch by 8 inch by 5 inches. There's a lot less to understand in there, although maybe it's just more compact. I don't know. I don't need to know again. Don't need to know, because as Steve Jobs used to say when he was still working, it just works. Steve Jobs doesn't work anymore. That's a little joke for you there. I think I said that before a couple of weeks ago as well. The late Steve Jobs, he doesn't work anymore, meaning his body is no longer functioning. Although who's to say it's not? When you're dead, whether you believe in an afterlife or not, your body has a half-life during which it's fueling its manure, basically, for the flowers. You're fueling beautiful flowers on the Earth's planet, and then you're being all sorts of other things. You go into all the things that your remains fuel after you're finished with them, and you could say, oh, I'm pretty much still alive. I'm part of this Earth, part of Mother Earth. Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking Christ. You're thinking Jesus Christ. It shows 666. That's the sign of the devil. The sign of Satan himself. The Beelzebub of the non-Jesus-y world. The Antichrist, basically. A fella who's opposed to Christ. He's opposed to everything as far as I can see. People like to concentrate on the rather obvious fact that he's against Christ. But no, he's against everything. He's against flowers and tulips. He's against cats. He's against anything that tastes nice and that isn't mouldy. He's against guns that don't work. He's against Satan is against everything. He's basically the anti-everything. He's like the anti-pasta of the spiritual world. He's the negatively charged electron of the for people who know about physics and chemistry, which I don't. Physics, I think, is what it is, not chemistry. I don't know much about either. Don't know much about history. That's a song. Don't know much about geography. Don't know much about physics or Satanism. Don't know much about cats. Don't know much about harmonicas. But just as well, they pretty much play themselves. All you need is a working lung or two. And I've got two. Anyway, show 666, that's what it is, but don't worry. I've no fear of this sort of thing. I was married on Friday the 13th, so I've none of that 666 conspiracy, whatever you call it, obsessiveness. Crap. It's a perfectly fine number. It's basically 999 turned upside down. It's 900. If there's 999 bottles on the wall and you turn it upside down and you say, oh, there's only 666 here, then not only have you reduced the bottle count, which is good for the environment, you've now got 303 bottles to spare, which if you live in America, you can return to a shop, I understand, and get a deposit back on them. Even if it's a deposit that you never made, you can get a deposit back. You look up the States, and I've seen this. I've been in America, and I've seen these bottles, and it says, oh, deposit. If you're in Minnesota, you get 5 cents. If you're in Pittsburgh, you get 10 cents. Depends on where you are. You get a different amount of deposits depending how much, what state you're in. It doesn't matter how much money you gave for it. You just get your money back. Then you can go and put the money into something. Invest the money in something. I don't know. Buy some stocks and shares. Buy some stocks in a stock company. A company that makes stocks. That new stock thing. I tried it out recently. Your man, the French cook fella, is promoting it and endorsing it. It's basically it's a little pot of stock that you put into your soups, and it brightens it up. And he's this Michelin award-winning chef, and he says, "Oh, I use this all the time. Absolutely, whenever I'm making a cup of soup, I tip a bit of this in here, and then I go home, and then I get my paycheck for doing a commercial." It's absolutely I would do a commercial like that. If you want me to do a commercial for your stocks, absolutely no problem, not at all. I've been doing commercials on this show now for over a couple of years now, and it's all fine. Haven't died. Nobody's died. We commercialised the podcast and nobody dropped dead, even though it shows 666, even though I got married on the Friday the 13th, even though I've got several black cats, which are supposed to be unlucky. Oh no, they're lucky. I don't know. Well, it depends, I suppose. Depends what way you look at it, and I look at it from the point of view that you're all mad. You're all mad. If you're looking at the number 666 on your frigging MP3 player now, and you're thinking, Christ, this isn't going to go well, then you're a fucking lunatic, which means life hasn't gone well for you at all. So don't worry about any further unwellness, because it's already, you're down at the bottom already. You're down in the pits of hell, metaphorically. You've hit rock bottom. That's what you've hit. You can't go down any further. So things can only get better. When you're down in the bottom of a hole, the only thing to do is to look up at the sky. If you look down, you'll just think, oh, how the frigging hell do I get down out of this? You don't. You get up out of this. You start hacking away, using your feet to kick little footholes into the wall, and then you start climbing, and you climb your way out. That's what you do. So if you ever hit rock bottom, that's what you do. You climb your way out. Don't be looking down into the muck, unless you happen to have some sort of a drill with you that can go right through the centre of the earth and out the other side, in which case you'll get into trouble with the authorities in whatever country you come out at, because you'll have illegally entered the country without going through. Although, was that illegal? If I was to dig a hole now down to Australia, would I find immigration officials there saying, "Excuse me, you didn't go through border patrol"? Could I just say, "I didn't see any border patrol on my way. You don't seem to have one in the centre of the earth"? Will they say, well, then you came in the wrong way, and I'll say, "Oh, sorry about that. I'm quite happy to go back to wherever your border patrol is now and show my passport, although I just have to go back out this hole first and go and get it out of my bedroom at the other side of the world." And they'll say, no, we're going to deport you now, and then you get a free flight home. Absolutely fucking fantastic. 2 Hexakosioihexekontahexaphobics cats walk into a bar. I hope I've got that right. I copied and pasted it from somewhere. It looks like it's a few different words stuck together, but my understanding is that it's a word meaning people who are afraid of the number 666. Anyway, 2 Hexakosioihexekontahexaphobics cats walk into a bar. One of the Hexakosioihexekontahexaphobic cats goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest Guinness, please? Please make sure it's not 666 millilitres. And the man behind the bar says, "Well, we still measure them in pints over here. We don't go around with these millilitres. No, those things are satanic. So don't worry your pretty little head about that. Even if it was, most cans are either 500 mils or 330 30 mils. So you're not going to get one that's 666 unless you look very, very hard. And the cat says, oh, thank you very much for reassuring me. And the man behind the bar says, oh, you're very welcome. Here's your pint of Guinness. I think that's around roughly 500 millilitres. Just don't accidentally spill another 166 millilitres into it, because then you'll have a problem, according to your irrational fears anyway. Well, that's not going to happen because the glass is full. Look on the glass is full because it is. If you look at it as half empty, then you might think you're going to fit another 330 millimetres into it, or 136, wherever I said it was, in which case then you'll spend your whole night sweating and you won't, although you will enjoy your drink then, because if you're sweating, there's nothing better than a pint or two of cold beer to cool you down, so you'll enjoy it all the more then. And the cat says, fair enough, thank you very much indeed. And the man behind the bar says, oh, you're very welcome, think nothing of it. And the cat says, oh, does that mean I don't have to pay? And the man says, no, it doesn't. Think nothing of paying for this, I think is what I meant to say, or what I should have said if I was being a smart arse, except I didn't think I was going to have to be a smart arse just to have an interaction with a frigging customer who I'm making a fine pint of beer for. And the cat says, chillax, I'm only griping your wagger. And the man behind the bar says, I've heard that phrase somewhere before, where did I hear that? And the cat says, do you read Dilbert by any chance? And the man behind the bar says, I used to anyway, years ago read Dilbert. And the cat says, well, I think it's from that, where the dog says something about I was only griping your wagger, and the man behind the bar says, when you say you were saying something about I'm only going to gripe your wagger, do you mean he was saying something along the lines of I'm only going to gripe your wagger? Because that would be more grammatically correct. And the cat says, shut your fucking face or I'll slap you around the head. I may be Hexakosioihexekontahexaphobic. In fact, I certainly am Hexakosioihexekontahexaphobic. There's no maybe about it. But that doesn't mean that I can't have a conversation without going all fucking nutty about it. Unless there's nuts in it, of course, because I'm allergic to peanuts. There's not peanuts in this, is there? And the man behind the bar says, well, I can't guarantee it because there's peanuts on these premises, but they're wrapped in foil and sealed in bags, so I don't think you need to worry. The cat says, I'll be the one who decides whether or not I need to worry. And the man behind the bar says, well, that's a bad idea because you've already explained you've got a messed up worry system. You've got a fault in your worrying system whereby you're unnecessarily worried about things like numbers. So if you're the one who decides whether you need to worry, then you're going to worry unnecessarily. You need to hand over your worry system to a higher power, just like they do with the alcoholics and all the rest of it. And the cat says, oh, that's an interesting way of looking at it, but I'm not going to. And then he goes and sits down and enjoys his Guinness. Well, kind of half enjoys it. He's a bit upset now. He's a bit pissed off, quite frankly, at the whole conversation. And a great night is had by all except him.
There's still more to come on Into Your Head.
Support the podcastual arts at no cost to you, just by sending Neil money. Visit intoyourhead.com and click on the tip jar to make a once-off donation. intoyourhead.com.
If you would like to comment on any of the issues raised in this program, email studio@intoyourhead.com. Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener.
Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats and stuff.
Are you a cat? Or do you know somebody who might be? Then tell yourself about Matchstick Cats, Neil's webcomic. Brand new episodes at intoyourhead.com.
Matchstick cats and stuff. Intoyourhead.com.
Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking at the beginning of that Cat's Bar story, he said two Hexakosioihexekontahexaphobic cats walk into a bar, and then he said, "Oh, I hope I've got that right. I copied and pasted it." And you're thinking, how the freaking hell do you copy and paste a word into the spoken word conversation? Well, you have a point there. Well, technically it's a question rather than a point, but if you had phrased it more as a point than a question, then you would have a point there. It's a good point. It's a bloody good point, although I thought of it first, and that's why I've said it here now as if to say I know what you're thinking there. You're not thinking it at all. I'm thinking, well, maybe you are, but I said it first. Either way, I said it first, even if you thought it first, which you didn't. Well, maybe you did. I acted as if I could read your thoughts, which I can't, but I said it anyway, even if you are thinking it. And then I said, oh, I know what you're thinking there, even though I don't. I was right to say you are thinking that, or just lying when I said I know what you're thinking there. I don't know what you're thinking there. I just happen to have stumbled upon what you're thinking. I don't even know whether it is what you're thinking, and if it's not, I still win, because it means I thought of the point first. So well done me. Monkey nuts, that's what they call them. They call them big steaming, shit-eating, piss-boiling, harmonica-playing, egg cup turning upside down to cover up my fish oil tablets because the kitten keeps trying to eat them, monkey nuts. They call them big piss-boiling, something, basically. Something monkey nuts, that's what they call them. They don't need to call them anything else. You're allowed to just have one or two words that you repeat. You can say, well, the whole point of a word is that you repeat it. If you just say it once and come up with a different word every time, I believe I've made this point before, but I'll make it again just to drill it home and see if I can change the world with my small number of ideas that I repeat a lot. No, if you have a word for something and you say, oh, I've used that word for it, last time I made reference to this item, I used that word for it, I have to use a different word this time, and you use a different word every time, then you're defeating the purpose of language. The purpose of language is to have as few words as possible, be as efficient as possible, and allow people to, if you say a word, people will say, oh, I know what that word means. That word is for that thing or concept, and that thing or concept is applied to that word, and there's only one word for it. We don't need multiple. There's no point in having multiple words for the same thing, or having multiple things for the same word. It defeats the fucking purpose. Get a fucking grip, you people, with your language. Shakespeare didn't have this problem. Shakespeare used to just come up and say, verily, he is a bastard. And people would say, wait a minute, that's a rude word, isn't it? And Shakespeare would say, it is in your time, but I'm 300 years ago. You're some kid sitting sniggering in the classroom in 1994. Well, not 1994, because you left school in 1993. Although this isn't necessarily about you in particular. It might be about any school kid. It's not always about you, you know, even though it is your podcast. What's a podcast, incidentally? That's what Shakespeare would say if he were alive today. Although if he were alive today, he'd probably know what a podcast is, because the reduced Shakespeare company, the comedy troupe from England, even they have a podcast now. So he'd bound to have heard of that if he did a bit of Google searching, a little bit of vanity searching. I'm sure he would. He'd do a search for Shakespeare, and he'd come up with, well, maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. Let's see what happens when you do a search for Shakespeare. If Shakespeare were alive today and living in Ireland, presumably, because that's why he'd be on google.ie, as I am by default here, and he searched for Shakespeare. Search. Here's what he'd get. Well, firstly, he'd get William Shakespeare, Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, and then over on the right, he'd get a load of pictures of himself, drawings. That would change if he were alive today. There'd be real photos. Now, whether he'd look old in them or not, I don't know. If he were alive today, would it mean he'd only been born 30 or 40 years ago, or would it mean that he was several hundred years old, or would it be that he's in? Oh, they'd found a way to bring him back to life. I don't know. Who's to say? It's not for me. Well, it is for me to say. It's my story. It's my imaginary scene that we're painting here. Anyway, let's see. What else would he see on Google? The third result would be Shakespeare online. As if to say, and he'd say, oh, the rest of these results mustn't be online. So this third one is online, meaning it's on the internet, if my understanding of modern language is correct. And I think it should be, because I'm Shakespeare. I can get a hold on any language. You can't be into any era, and within a couple of days I can tell you I'll have a grasp on the language, because once you know any language or any era of the English language, you know how to get a grip with it, get the grips with it. So you can go to be planted in anywhere. You could plant me into the dinosaur era, and I can tell you within a couple of weeks I'd be talking to the dinosaurs, no problem. I'd be the William Doolittle doctor of the dinosaur world. Anyway, here's Shakespeare online. It looks like a site that was designed around the time Shakespeare was alive. Isn't that fantastic? Anyway, I'm bored with the whole
Number
Shakespeare.
Number 66, 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 horse, number 66, meat, number 66, meat, number 66, number 66, even Shakespeare got number 66. Horse, number 66, horse, number 66, horse, number 66, horse, number 66, number 66, number 66, number 66, shakes, number 66, number 66, horse, number 66, number 66,
even afterlude to episode 666 of Into Your Head podcast. This is especially for the whatever I call them. I have to open another frigging window where I have the word so I can read it. Hexakosioihexekontahexaphobics. This is for you. You've survived this episode. Well, if you're still listening, unless you're not still listening, in which case you've still survived this episode, unless there's been some freak accident during it. You just haven't managed to stay listening. You fucking coward. You fucking cowardly cunty piece of shit. You couldn't stick with it through an episode just because I had 666 in it. It's probably not even the 666th episode, because I remember back when I did show 399, I did a 399A and a 399B and a 399C and a few others like that. So this is probably more like the 680th episode. But no, you see a number there. You see a number staring out at you. You go, Christ, or you go, oh, Satan, whatever it represents. You say, oh, those are 3 6s. They're like bees that have been bent, because Satan has pushed them over with his fork. If he's pushed the tops of the lowercase b's over, or even worse, maybe they're uppercase b's that have had their whole face removed, so they've become 6s, and half of their back bent over 45 degrees to the right. Well, I think you're overthinking it there, quite frankly. You're thinking too much. Written numbers don't work like that. Someone doesn't come along and bend them. No, they're just ink. In fact, when they're on my screen, as this is right now, it's not even ink. And when it's on an audio thing on your frigging earphones, it's not even typed. It's just sound waves. It's not even sound waves because it's not coming through FM radio. It's just coming in as ones and zeros. So these 666s that you're listening to here, they're really just ones and zeros that are being interpreted by your computer as 666, which probably means your computer is satanic. I don't know. But at best, at worst, the worst that could come out of it is that you might think that your PC that you're sitting there is satanic. But as we established earlier, the only part of your computer that you touch is the keyboard, and as we established earlier, the keyboard keyboards from Microsoft are holographic now, so you're not even touching that. So you don't even have to wash your hands now to get the fleas off you that Satan put there. If you're right about all your fears, which you're not. So get over it. Anyway, I hope that helps. Good morning.
Into your head.